It's Crash Toro here, and I will show you the top 5 easiest Super Mario 64 bosses from, obviously, Super Mario 64. This list will obviously explain how easy the bosses are, and why they are easy, and how easy it is to get to. So without further ado, let's get to the countdown. Okay. So number 5 happens to be Wiggler. The way you access this boss is you first go to the huge island and go to the top of the mountain and ground pound. This causes all the water to drain. Then you go to the huge island, or first you go to the tiny island and then flush the water, and then you go to the huge island and watch as Wiggler complains, and then you fight him. All you have to do is stomp on his head 3 times, and he gets faster every time you stomp on his head. And he complains, but it's honestly really easy to fight him. But this is like extremely guilty. Dude, I'm over here. There we go. And after you hit him a 3rd time, he gives up and then takes the star, and then he feels better and forgives you and allows you to come back to his house all the time. So, as you can see, fairly easy boss. Let's get on to number 4. Okay, so number 4 is the Big Bob-omb from Bob-omb Battlefield. You first climb up this mountain, which is really easy to do, and then he says he's the Lord of the Old Blasting Matter. And then he gets mad at you for climbing his mountain. This boss is easy because all you have to do is run around him, which can be kind of hard to do, and then you grab his back, and before snapping Mario's backbone, you throw him across the air. And then you do this 3 times and get the star. This boss is easier because while it can be hard to get around him, Wiggler actually gets more challenging every time you stomp on his head. Big Bob-omb doesn't really get more challenging. The only really challenging part that I can say is getting behind him. And even then, it takes no effort. And before I say anything, Bowser is not on this list because while he is easy in most people's eyes, he's not in mine. He's not in mine because it feels like super difficult and even random to just grab him, his tail, and throw him across. But Big Bob-omb is easy because he's a lot slower than Bowser. And after like 3 attempts, you get the star. Obviously, I think this is easy because this is the first star you'll tackle probably, so it makes sense why it's so easy. But I kind of felt like they could have made it more challenging. So let's move on to number 3. Okay, so number 3 on our list is King Wump. I'd say he's easier than the King Bob-omb, but unlike what other people think. But I think this guy is easier because it requires less steps. So basically, you climb again the top of the mountain, and he gets mad that he makes us our houses and castles and whatever, and we don't say thank you, probably because they're slabs of stone. But this boss is really easy, because you're supposed to wait until he falls, and you're supposed to run around him without getting squished. But if you time it correctly, you actually don't need to do that, as I'm doing now. You can, watch, if you jump when he does and ground pound, you can ground pound through him. And that makes this boss easier than King Bob-omb. Plus, this is also the 2nd star that you'll most likely collect, so that could also be the reason. But again, they could have made it the slightest bit more challenging. So, on to number 2. Okay, so number 2 is the Big Bully. This boss is easy twice. The first time you just fight him and you just jump at him until he falls into the lava. The second time you have to defeat 3 more bullies before you can take on the big one, and even then it's still kind of easy. But I found the easiest way to do it since I, for some reason, have trouble with this. Huh. First time I've done that before, but apparently you can do that as well. The only challenge is getting the star because the platforms fall. But this is the reason why Big Bully is the second hardest star, the second easiest boss in Super Mario 64. But we still have to get to number 1, and you might be wondering, what could it possibly be? Stay tuned. Seriously? Okay, and number 1, the easiest Super Mario 64 boss is the Chill Bully. You might be wondering, why is the Chill Bully number 1 and not the Big Bully? They're basically the same boss. Well, there's actually this really neat trick that you can do, where if you jump at just the right time and die, you can actually get him into the lava or the freezing water pretty more easily than you already would. You can also just do that. So yeah, usually you could just dive into the water, but I did it wrong. But anyway, that is the easiest boss in Super Mario 64. And so, if you ever need to tell people what the easiest bosses in Super Mario 64 are, now you know. Thank you for watching, and I hope you enjoyed. Peace out.